What's up, Doc, and welcome back to the channel. Here, we make sure that entitled feminists get exactly what they deserve. From Andrew proving why some of these women live in delusion.
To the girl who rated you a 9, I have to ask, can you describe for me what an ugly woman looks like?
An ugly woman?
Yeah.
Into the mic.
Why would I describe an ugly woman? We're not even talking about women right now. Mister?
To others begging for forgiveness after racking up a high body count.
I think that if you are wanting a traditional relationship with someone who wants to live a biblical life, just because you have a dark past with a high body count, our Father has given us the gift of forgiveness. If you're living a new life and have been living a new life for years,
We've got it all, so stick around until the end to watch how these feminists get what's coming to them. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more videos like this. Watch as Andrew completely dismantles this woman's arguments, leaving her to regret her decisions. This video reveals the unsettling mindset many women of this generation seem to hold. It's truly disturbing.
To the girl who rated you a 9, I have to ask, can you describe for me what an ugly woman looks like?
An ugly woman?
Yeah.
into the mic.
Why would I describe an ugly woman? We're not even talking about women right now. Mister?
Yeah, I know. Can you describe for me though what an ugly woman looks like?
Did you just assume
like you do agree that there are some women who on the planet who are ugly, right?
No, I don't think any women on this planet are ugly.
So then
Erroneous.
your standard is
Erroneous.
that there's no such thing as anybody who's a person can be in a burn victim ward, half their face is melted off, their tongue is sticking out, they have a hunchback on their back, right? Mm-hmm. This person is still, you consider them to be physically attractive.
I mean, yeah.
So that was a f***ing lie.
Have you seen The Hunchback of Notre Dame?
Yeah, you consider Quasimodo physically attractive, do you?
Honestly, if he can be the lead in a Disney movie, then he is attractive.
She was asked a straightforward question about what she considers an ugly person, but instead of giving a direct answer, she acted obnoxiously and downright annoying.
I think beauty is in the eye. Like, you have to think about it, like...
I agree, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, so I'm asking, what is the least beautiful type of person you can describe, because I would consider that to be ugly?
To someone who's, like, evil. Like, I think if you're a bad person, you're ugly, but
yeah, but what about their physical characteristics, not their emotional or innate characteristics?
Like,
let's say a person was in a coma and had never spoken a word their entire life, right? So you had no idea what their personality was like. You could only see what they physically looked like. Mm-hmm. Inside of that situation, the person who physically looked the worst would look like what?
I don't even, like... I don't even know how to answer that. Like, why not think about pretty things? Like, why are we thinking about ugly people?
Well, because in order to think about what is pretty, I think that you have to have the other end of the standard, which is what is not pretty. And so I'm asking you what a thing which is not pretty in a person looks like physically. Otherwise, how can we judge a standard, for instance? How can I judge your standard for what beautiful is if you can't tell me the other end of it, which is what ugly is? How could I ever judge your standard as being something which is in any way, shape, or form dependable?
Okay. Well, I just think... Well, can I just say what I find attractive about Brian? Is it Brian? Or is it Brandon?
Now, how about you tell me what you find unattractive about
I don't know. Like, I just find... I feel like my brain, like, is at a point where, like, attractiveness is really just based on, like, the inside. Like, would you ask this question to Stevie Wonder?
Yes. Stevie Wonder, yes, I would ask him, what does a beautiful woman look like? And he'd be like, well, I think, he would dive into, I'm guessing that she has a voluptuous bosom and nice rounded hiney and all sorts of different things that I'm sure Stevie Wonder would say, as my understanding was that Stevie Wonder had a way with the ladies once upon a time. So I'm guessing he had a standard as well.
Okay, I do have standards and they're very high, but I just...
Oh, well, what a shock. So you have really, really high standards for the type of men you will date, right? And so then we rule out all types of men you won't date. What do the types of men you don't date look like by chance?
Well, I know their pockets look empty. That's one. I don't like brokies. I like a guy who's ambitious.
Yeah, I know, great. I'm just the physical characteristics.
Okay,
right?
Okay, I don't like guys... Okay, I guess for my preference, I don't like guys with blonde hair that much.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
even though my first kiss was a blonde guy, but like I want to have like, you know, a tall dark stallion. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like guys who look like childish. Like when you were younger, you looked a little bit childish, but like that's okay because you were young. But like you know, why do I have to answer what I find unattractive?
So you don't like soft doughboy looking men.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great. So you would consider them to be unattractive.
Yes.
Okay, great. Now, can you tell me what would be an unattractive standard for a woman?
Why does it have to be a woman? Like, I think all women are beautiful.
Why does it matter? How can you say what's unattractive in men but not women? How would you ever judge what a beauty standard is? How could you endlessly compare yourself to women if you can't even tell me what an unattractive woman looks like? And now, hang on. Here's the part where you bullshit me. I never compare myself to other women. Don't bullshit me. Don't bullshit me. Just tell me, what does an unattractive woman look like?
I don't compare myself to other women, first of all.
Okay, sure. Okay.
And
you're the only one on planet Earth who's never compared yourself to another woman.
I mean, I wouldn't say never, but I just feel like an unattractive woman is like a really mean, evil woman. Like, I don't know what she would look like.
Physical characteristics. Physical, yes.
Like,
I feel like obviously there's conventional beauty standards.
Yeah.
So, of course, like we as women do things to make ourselves more attractive conventionally, right? So,
yeah, but how would you know what that was unless you were comparing yourself to other women?
Of course, I do compare myself to other women.
Yeah, that's a totally honest answer that I can respect. I understand that.
Of course.
I understand saying I compare myself to other women. That's how I know what the conventional beauty standard is, and that's how I know what's attractive or unattractive. So I'm guessing from your position, for instance, a woman who is like 300 pounds and 5'6", you would probably rule out as being particularly attractive, right?
Yes, but I do think that like in this day and age, there's so much that you can do you can make yourself attractive. Like you could start off ugly and overweight, and you can do a lot to yourself to make yourself suddenly attractive.
I'm not disputing that you can't change physical characteristics to make yourself more attractive. All I'm asking is
what is unattractive?
An unattractive woman looks like.
Unattractive, I would say, is overweight. I'm big on teeth, so like messed up teeth, you know, acne, skin. I think unhygienic, like hygiene is a big factor of attractiveness to me. So that would be like clean nails, clean teeth, shower, odor. Those things also play a role in appearing attractive, I believe. But of course, you know, like, do you do your hair, your makeup, your nails? And, you know, everybody has different levels do they want a full beat on their face of makeup, or do they just want like a little something, you know? But like, I think, that would be probably my answer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if a woman fit those criteria for what you consider to be unattractive, and let me just make sure I can go through the list, which I think is a reasonable list. Obesity, not very hygienic, which I think if you're highly obese, usually you're not very hygienic anyway, right? That usually goes kind of hand in hand. You would agree with that, right? Like not
more
always,
or less,
but generally.
More or less.
Generally, more or less, right? Lots of acne on the face, really bad teeth, right? All of these different things, gross hair, you consider all those to be qualities of an unattractive woman. So I would tend to agree that that's true. So would you say if one of those women then called themselves a 10, that they were delusional? That's my question.
Yes.
And to the 10, would you say that if a woman had those characteristics and said that she was a 10, would she be delusional?
Yeah, but it's okay to live in delusion it's not hurting me. If you are conventionally unattractive and believe you're a 10.
It's okay to live in delusion?
It's not my life. If you want to live like that, I don't care. Like, it really doesn't affect me.
Would you prefer to live in delusion or
no?
not?
I would prefer to live in reality, but
don't you think most people if people
But it's
live
also
in
not my
delusion,
job to go up to someone who believes that they're a 10 and be like, no, you're not.
Yeah, but don't delusional people affect reality? With their delusions? I mean, that's literally why we lock delusional people up.
I feel like in a place like
reality.
LA, if you believe you're a 10 and you are clearly not a 10, reality is going to hit you like a brick wall, especially in California.
Yeah, I agree with that too. But back over to the 10, just the answer from you. would you say that if a woman met all those criteria for what she considered unattractive, and this person called themselves a 10, that they would be delusional?
I would say they're very confident, and they, Delulu is sometimes a Salulu. If that helps you go through the day, you thinking you're a 10, then more
So
power
they're coping?
to you.
So they're coping?
Yeah,
They're coping?
they're coping. They're living in their world, and it's like they're not hurting anyone. So it's like,
yeah, they've already got enough going on. They're overweight. They have bad skin. They have bad teeth. They've already got enough on their plate. Like, let them have their little delusion, okay?
Yeah, but
Exactly.
how do they change those things if you let them live in that delusion?
how do you change what? Sorry.
How do they change those things if you let them live in delusion?
If they want to live that lifestyle, that's for
Yeah,
them.
I know that might. So I'm going to
That's
ask a question though. Maybe answer the question I ask instead of the one I'm not asking. So here's a question I'm asking you: how does a woman who has all those characteristics but says she's a 10 and is living in delusion by your metric, how does she change these things if nobody ever tells her that she's delusional?
How does she change these things if no one tells her she's delusional? Maybe she doesn't want to. Who am I to decide that for her?
Do you think that a person, because you remember how the gal, I guess from your perspective would be to my left in red, is that correct?
Yeah.
Is that from your perspective to my left?
No, I'm to your right.
To my right, okay.
I guess.
So to the gal to my right in the red, remember how she said, and I agree with this, and I think you do too, that people can have all sorts of unattractive traits, right, and change them. They can change them so that they can actually become more attractive and live more fulfilled lives. How can they do that if you let them live in delusion?
I think that there's like a gentle way to, say if you're severely overweight, like you can come at it less from a superficial perspective of like the aesthetics of it, and more so like, hey girl, like you want to come to the gym with me, you want to like go get sweet green for lunch instead of whatever you're eating, you can.
So as it turns out, it's not good to let them live in delusion. So
delusion,
when you said,
delusion
they're
in
not
that
hurting anybody, so what's the problem?
Well, they
with
might be
letting them
hurting
live in delusion?
themselves.
Hang on. You said they're not hurting anybody. What's the problem with letting them live in delusion? When you get to the heart of it, it looks like there's quite a big problem with letting them live in delusion. And you would say, hey, girl, let's go get a salad so that you can burn some of that fat off your body, right? That's what you would say to them, right? You wouldn't allow them to live in delusion. Apparently, you see it as being a problem as well. That's interesting, right?
I think it's only a problem if it's somebody that... It's a problem to me if it's somebody that I love and care about, because then there can be actual like risks and health issues involved with that. But if it's just like a random person on the street who lives in delusion, like that's not really affecting me. But if it's someone that I love and care about, of course I would try and encourage them.
Yeah, but isn't that a great cruelty if somebody is living in delusion and you're just unwilling to tell them that they're being delusional because you don't want to hurt their feelings? Isn't that cruel? Isn't that actually the worst thing to do? Isn't that the cruelest thing that you can do to a person, is lie to them about their delusion?
I'm not lying to anybody. I'm just like ignoring people on the street that I don't know. Like I'm not lying to them. I didn't tell them they're a 10.
You're omitting the truth from them, right? And I'm guessing that if somebody
do you walk up to fat people on the
these,
street and tell them that they need to lose weight?
Yeah. Well, if somebody was walking down the street and said to a woman, let's say that she had a sign that said, "I'm a beautiful 10," and she had all these unattractive qualities, and a guy walked over to her and went, "No, you're not. You're ugly as sin because this, and this, and this, right? You need to change all that shit." You would probably say he's being mean. But that's not mean, right? He's pointing out, this is delusional. How could these people change this if nobody ever tells them?
She acts completely delusional and downright clueless when asked a simple question. But Andrew quickly brings her back to reality, helping her understand the basic concept of attractiveness and unattractiveness between men and women. In our next video, watch how a girl with a high body count tries to seek forgiveness for her past, forgetting that society often judges women by their sexual actions.
I think that if you are wanting a traditional relationship with someone who wants to live a biblical life just because you have a dark past with a high body count, Our Father has given us the gift of forgiveness. If you're living a new life and have been living a new life for years, that's what should matter. So here, I'll start from the beginning. Just because you have a dark past with a high body count, our Father has given us the gift of forgiveness. If you are living a new life and have been living a new life for years, that's what should matter. Nobody is perfect.
Yeah, I think, God gives us the opportunity to be born again and be new people. And, if you've been living a new life, you let your old self die. I think everybody should deserve, another chance. Nobody's perfect. We all struggle with different things. And like I said, I think we all have an opportunity to let our old selves die and be a new person if we are living in Christ.
Yeah, sure. I think that being forgiven for those things is not only appropriate, but what Christians are called to do, right, is to ask for forgiveness for their sins, right? That's what they're supposed to do. But you wouldn't say a Christian's obligated to in any way date or not reject a woman based on body count, right?
No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, so
I'm
like
just saying
if a guy was a Christian and he met with a Christian woman and he really liked her, he thought she was great, but found out that she had slept with 50 men. And he was like, well, that's a deal breaker for me. You don't have an objection to that, right?
No, not at all.
Okay, so then in some ways, I think that this is just a cope position. And the reason I think it's a cope position is because what happens is many of these women go from literal online whoredom, where they're like doing boy-girl content on and things like this, and they go, oh, well, shit, it's 30, time to get married, drop out of that, and then move over and say, now I'm a Christian. But then they get into the dating market as a Christian, and these men are like, well, I'm still not interested in you even though I'm a Christian, right? Aren't they still setting themselves up for massive failure here? Like, sure, God forgave you. Great. And I'm glad you're a Christian. I'm still not dating you, right? Isn't that what they're going to say?
I mean, like, even with age, that stuff makes you less optimal than dating. Like you were saying, your childbearing years are when you're younger. So, I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't really understand what the point is then. Like, they understand. I mean, Christians understand the forgiveness aspect, right?
Yeah, but not everybody has a perfect past. A lot of people were raised with traumatic life events where they didn't have both parents in the household. They didn't know, what being loved by both parents was, or, grew up with a bad past.
I agree with all that.
Yeah.
But I'm not, I don't know. I
think it's probably in reference to the episode that I was on where the girl, became a Christian, and then Brian's like, kind of late now. I think that's probably less of the Christian.
He was probably so if it came to this idea of sexual dynamics, then just becoming a Christian is not going to erase your sexual history.
I think pretty much only Christians will be the ones, if they hold that view, that would kind of be forgiving of it.
Oh, they'll forgive it. That doesn't mean that they're gonna. That doesn't mean that they're gonna, put a ring on it, though.
Right, and they don't have to.
So is that it? That's your position?
Yeah.
So when you say forgive, okay, so you can be forgiven through your faith or whatever, but you think it's objectionable if men would refuse to date you because of your dark past of a high body count?
I mean, I'm not saying it's objectionable. I just think that other people with similar pasts look at it like it's bad, like, oh, you can't do that, but I can do it, kind of thing.
So why would that be a problem?
It's it's saying that women can't have bad past, but the guy can have a bad past. I don't think that's...
well, I mean, it's so this just comes down to preferences, right? So it's this idea is, okay, let us assume for a moment you have a man, he converts around the same time you do. Let's assume inside the hypothetical that both of you slept with 1,000 people, okay? Not saying you have, of course not. I'm just saying in the hypothetical, we're just assuming this, right? Doesn't even have to be you, just woman, man, both of them slept with 1,000 guys or people.
They converted at the exact same time. They meet each other. They like each other. They both find out that the other one has slept with 1,000 people. It's a deal breaker for the guy, not for the girl. Says, well, wait a second. You slept with 1,000 too. He says, yeah, but I don't care. I still don't want to date you based on the fact that you have. I still don't actually see a problem with that. Like, I can't figure out what the actual issue with that would be.
I mean, yeah, I guess everybody has their own preferences, but yeah, I don't think it would be okay if both people have similar dark pasts and one person's like, no, I don't. It's okay that I did it, but it's not okay that you did it.
Well, no. Well, you're both starting from the same slate, though. So you both have been forgiven for the sins, right? So, and you're both pursuing Christianity, Christian ethics, right? Okay. So you're starting equal. So he just says, okay, based on your past, I'm not interested.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's okay.
Why is that not okay?
It's kind of hypocritical.
Yeah, but so what? Why can't you be hypocritical in dating preferences?
Because I think you should hold your...
I definitely, 100%, right, think that if you've ever slept with a guy, right, that it would be a deal breaker with you if a guy ever slept with another guy. Would that be a deal breaker?
If a guy that I slept with...
If a guy slept with another guy, would that be a deal breaker for you?
Yeah.
Have you ever slept with a guy? Fucking hypocrite. You tell me, have you ever slept with a guy? Hypocrite. Have you?
Yeah, but not with somebody of the same sex.
So what? You still slept with a man, and he slept with a man. Why would that be a deal breaker, hypocrite?
Because one involves homosexuality and the other doesn't. Andrew,
well, wait
you're
a second. Wait. Are they both sleeping with men?
Weak argument.
Are they both sleeping with men?
You can do better.
I'll refute it.
One has to do with homosexuality, which doesn't align with Christian values.
Okay, wait a second. That wasn't my question. My question had nothing to do with Christian values. My question was, would you ever date a guy who slept with a guy? Answer is no. Okay, but he's expected to sleep with you who slept with another guy. It's like, okay, that would be hypocrisy. Tell me how it wouldn't be.
Because she probably wants men who are attracted to women.
They could still be attracted to women.
She would, okay. Are they?
Only attracted to women.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So what? So we could reduce anything that way, in fact. We could just endlessly make reductions.
Sure, but you should probably, can you give a better,
why do I need to give
closely aligned argument?
As soon as you give a logical refutation of the first argument.
But you were the initial person arguing.
Nope, she was. She said it's a hypocrisy. I gave a counterexample of hypocrisy. You have refuted not my example of hypocrisy.
You're just not accepting that it's a false equivalency.
What's false about the equivalency?
One involves homosexuality, the other does not.
Oh, okay, so anytime that you make an analogy between two things which are hypocrisy, you agree they're always going to be different, right?
Well,
hang on. You agree with me that anything you compare to anything else is always going to be different than the thing you're comparing it to?
I think you can compare things that are a little bit more closely aligned.
Not my question. You're evading.
No, I don't.
Is every instance of hypocrisy is going to be different than another? So anytime you say you're a hypocrite, no, you're a hypocrite, you both have done hypocritical things that are not the same thing. So really don't know where you're...
I think you do know.
No.
But okay.
No. But in this case, like, I feel like why would you not sleep with a man who slept with another man? Is it because of the homosexuality, right?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Okay, great. If you weren't a Christian, would you?
Believing. What's that?
If you weren't a Christian, would you sleep with a guy who slept with a guy? Yeah, probably not. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, but it's still about the homosexuality.
Wait. Oops. The entailment of the homosexuality here would be it's sinful. If you're a secularist, you can't say it's sinful, right?
Well,
you would just say it's gross. It's gross.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Say it's not
if that's what you think.
So there's nothing wrong with having the preference of it's gross, even if you've done the exact same thing.
There's nothing wrong with having the preference of thinking something's
I agree.
gross.
So her saying this is hypocrisy, great. This is hypocrisy too.
Well, she can also choose to reject him based on his past.
Correct. Same. Even if she had the exact same equivalency.
I would do it if the compatibility was there enough, but I don't necessarily want to date somebody with kids. You know what I mean? Even though I have them. So I get it.
How many kids
fucking
do you
hypocrite.
I have 2.
You wouldn't date a guy who has kids?
I would if we were super compatible, but it's not going to be the top of my list by far.
Hypocrisy.
Exactly. I'm owning it though.
It's actually fine. It's fine to to entertain hypocrisy when it comes to dating preferences. I have no idea why it wouldn't be. Like, I'll give you a million more examples, right? You probably would prefer to have men who are taller than you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not requiring like 6 foot or anything.
But you would probably like it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you reject a guy based on the fact that he wasn't taller than you?
Not always necessarily.
No? What if he was bald?
No, I like that.
Okay. What if he was like really heinously ugly?
No, I think there should be some physical attraction. Not,
there has to be.
It doesn't have to be like head over heels instantly, but I think there definitely needs to be some sort of.
So you can think of probably all kinds of preferences and traits that you would like, right, to have in the other partner, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's back up and take kind of a bird's eye view. When you're talking about an argument from hypocrisy, the reason that it's fallacious to begin with, like, you're a hypocrite, you should do this preferential thing that I like, is because it actually doesn't make any sense. Because whatever standard you're holding them to, you could easily be held to the exact same standard back, and you would likely be a hypocrite when it came to dating. Like, for instance, you would probably think a guy who has brown eyes, it's okay for him to reject a girl who has brown eyes. Is that hypocrisy?
No.
Why? Why not? Why not?
They have a right to choose what
they have a right. They have a right to choose based on their preferences, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if they both have the same body count, why can't he just still say, no, it's too high?
I don't know. I think that's a different level of standards that people hold to each other. Like, I guess what my take is, it's just a lot of people overlook the forgiveness aspect. And I'm not saying that if you don't want to make that choice to be with that person because of their past, like, I'm not saying that that's not okay, but, you know, I just think that...
Do you think that people who have adopted children, have SA children, can be forgiven? I mean, they can be forgiven, right?
They can be forgiven, yeah.
You gonna let them watch your kids?
No.
No. So just because you've been forgiven for a thing, right?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Doesn't necessarily mean that suddenly, well, we're just going to look past what you did, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Now, she finally grasps the double standards men and women with high body counts face, and why these actions aren't easily forgotten. If you're still watching, you know you're in for some top quality content and commentary, so make sure to stay until the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support the channel. Your likes really help it grow. In the next video, we'll be looking at an old dinosaur of a woman who still expects to be impressed by men. Watch as she gets a serious dose of reality.
Did you say the longest period of time that you've been involved with somebody since then? Like, have you had a 1 year thing, a 6 month thing?
No, just the phone relationship. Otherwise, no, everything fizzles out pretty quickly.
Why is that?
Why is that? That's a great question.
I'm asking you.
Let's get to the bottom of this.
Is it them? Is it you?
Once you get to be in your 40s and you're never married and no kids, you start to learn that it's you. But
so what's your analysis? What's your assessment of yourself then?
You know, I may be being a little self-deprecating when I say that, but I'm looking for a good match, and I don't want to just settle on like, oh, okay, I don't know. I want to be in love. I want to love somebody more than I've ever loved anybody in my whole life. And that takes time. And I think that love probably looks and feels a lot different in your 40s than it does in your 20s. And so that's a really hard place to get to love somebody really hard and to have a meaningful relationship with somebody.
Why aren't you
it takes
on
time.
dating apps?
Shudder. I've done that. I've done that. It feels like a reject club.
What do you mean reject club?
People who couldn't find the match in real life. So they have to go to the reject club. Yeah.
So you?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Yeah, that's why I got on there, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna find the exit. I'm not gonna do this anymore.
It's like, but aren't they? They're kind of in the same boat that you're in.
Yep.
Anyways, in any case, I don't think if somebody's on a dating app, it doesn't mean that they're rejects.
I know. I'm being a little harsh. I'm being a little harsh.
But in any case, so what are you looking for in a man?
I want somebody who impresses me.
Impress?
Yeah, I want to be impressed.
In what capacity?
I know that's going to wear off, but you could impress me with anything. Your talents,
talents.
Yeah,
okay.
Your talents, your skills, your knowledge. Maybe you know lots of stuff about lots of things.
So like maybe, high intelligence, high IQ.
Yeah, you could high intelligence, or maybe just someone who knows how to fix things around the house.
Handy. Okay.
And these are all options. You don't have to be all of these things.
But they've got to be one or a few.
You have to be interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
Interesting. Okay. What are the other things?
Provoke an intellectual conversation.
Okay.
I want somebody who we can have shared meals together and we enjoy the same kinds of food. I want someone who he doesn't have to make as much money as I, but I want him to be able to afford to go on vacations with me. And I mean, I can kick in and I can help. I break 6 figures.
Okay. Would you like the guy to also make 6 figures, or?
I mean, that would be nice, but I'm totally flexible because I know
50K?
I don't want to be too narrow. I'm really open to the person.
Sure.
But as far as what they bring to the table, I don't want to completely take care of them. But you know what? If this man can build a house from the bottom up, I'll buy that house and you build it, honey. That would be fine.
Wait, you want a man who can build a house all on his own?
No, I'm not a complete absolutist.
There's like HVAC, there's plumbing,
and you have to pay for all of it.
Right, I'm not.
If you could find a man who could actually build a house on his own,
it wouldn't even have to have all that. I live in Alaska, and I'd be happy in a dry cabin.
A cabin maker, okay.
Yeah. I'm not hung up on a perfect ideal.
Let's go back really quick to the income. 50,000 too little?
No, I think that'd be adequate, but just someone who can afford to go on vacation with me and live the lifestyle that I want to live. I can take care of my part.
Okay. So what is the lifestyle that you want to live?
I want to go out to the theater, enjoy some shows. I want to go to concerts, and I want to be in the front row. I'm going on a vacation to Peru right now, and I'm going on a 7-day yoga retreat in Machu Picchu, and I would love someone who can pay their own way to join me on a trip like that.
So you'd want them to go 50-50 with you on the vacationing and stuff?
Yeah.
Even if you out-earn them by 50%.
Well, I mean, I could pay for like the flights, but like as far as like when it comes to this vacation, for example, I paid for like the yoga retreat for myself. I would want him to pay for, participating.
What if he doesn't want to participate in the yoga retreat?
Then he can go we could find a different vacation, and I'll go on yoga retreat, and he can go on a cruise and play poker.
Sure. Okay.
You could impress me with how well you play poker. You could impress me lots of different ways.
Okay. So you want somebody to impress you. You want someone to be interesting. Any other things? Are there any physical traits like height or that sort of thing?
I want someone who can fit in a regular airplane seatbelt and who doesn't have to ask for a seatbelt extender.
Okay. So someone you don't want to date an obese guy.
See, I want to be careful with that word because it's he doesn't have to be perfect. That would be my measurement, my barometer is fit into don't have to ask for a seatbelt extender.
So he could be obese, just not that obese.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how to frame it.
What about height?
I'm a short lady. I mean, I would go pretty short, and I would go shorter than I.
Would you date someone shorter than you?
I mean, 5 foot, I can go down to 5 feet. But if the man is shorter than 5 feet, he's going to need a shorter woman.
Wait, I have a question. Wouldn't you want to date someone who's like a provider?
Well, yeah, that would be great.
Do you think you've lowered your standards over the years?
Yes.
Okay.
Quick yes.
What were your standards when you were 20?
Yeah.
At that time, I would want somebody who would out-earn me, but at that time, I didn't know what my earning potential was going to be.
Wait, so what's the difference now? Like, why is it lowered so much? Is it because of the...
Because the pool is a lot more narrow.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just going to be perfectly candid.
Okay. And so, in the past year, how many first dates have you gone on?
One this year.
Just one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then
any sneaky links?
Sneaky links?
That's like casual fling, hookup type thing?
No, nothing casual. But the last time I kind of matched with somebody was maybe 2 or 3 months ago. Someone that I've known for a while. We linked for like a week.
Carnal knowledge?
Affirmative.
Affirmative. Okay. Cool. All right. And if they're not impressive or they're not interesting, is that a deal breaker?
See, I think that people become interesting once you start to get to know them. Almost everybody's in the friend zone right off the bat because I'm just trying to get to know you. And my interest in you grows when I learn more about you and what your skills and talents are. And that's when I become attracted to somebody.
Wait, and you live in Alaska, right?
Yes.
What's the population of Alaska?
It's like around 750,000, a little bit under that.
And are you in Anchorage? That's the capital.
A little bit north of Anchorage.
That's the capital, right?
Juneau is the capital.
Or it's the most
it's the most populous area. Yeah. Yes.
You're an hour. Or how far from the not the capital,
from Anchorage? I'm about 20 minutes, 30 minutes from Anchorage, but that's just from the north side of Anchorage. It takes another 45 minutes to get all the way across the city. So,
I feel like it's got to be hard to, to date in Alaska. It's like the most remote place.
You know, I wish I was thinking of things like that when I was 30 and I decided to move there. I'm not sure. Right now I'm buying a house and I'm going to own it in 3 more years, and then I'll be better positioned to make those kind of choices. Texas has been kind of on the brain lately, but in Alaska, they say that the ratio of men to women is 10 men to 1 woman. And they probably say this other places, but a saying in Alaska is that the odds are good, but the goods are odd.
Does that apply to you?
Affirmative.
Affirmative. All right. Okay.